Welcome. I am Crime Queen, and if you're joining us for the first time, it's the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. I love numerology. Okay, because it offers us it offers us Mother Eve, because Mother Eve is key to us understanding who we are. If you want to know who you are, don't you want to know your mother? That's it, simple. You want to know your father, which is Adam in the back. But we had so much about Adam. Now we really want to know a little bit more about Eve than that she ate of the fruit and had been the one responsible for man's fall, the fall of mankind. All of mankind have been what they are because Eve ate of the fruit. Now, of course, and not only that she ate of the fruit, that has had a ripple effect on particularly female, who has been, of course, your mother's daughter, so to speak. So I felt that perhaps that had served as one of the reasons why I really wanted to explore this subject a little bit more. All right, so exploring this subject a little bit more is that I have got this insight. Again, we do this in numerology and also with intuition. There is something intuition offers that I don't think any mathematical equation or anything like that offers. Intuition will offer you the insight to see where the mathematical constructs or formula have been played with. And so this is where I'm at. So we have been exploring. I'm looking at again going back to Genesis, because Mother Eve keeps telling us to go back, and we have been doing the dance. It's the dance that the serpent does. It really goes in and out. There are times it just curls and it's a little bit asleep and you think it's asleep, but you need to be careful. And so Mother Eve is, you just don't know what it's going to do, so that's what Mother Eve has been doing here, has been working through me in that way. And now we are looking at Let There Be Light again. This is the text everyone knows. So let there be light. Now, in case you are new to this, this is that a depiction of that which we are. We are dots. Dots equals 13. This is where things are germinated. This is the incubation. The 13 is the Last Supper, Christ and the disciples. 13 is my own personal story as well. I can associate 13 because I'm of 14 children and the fifth child. And so these are things that helps me to be able to identify with the story of Osiris, which was the god, the ancient Greek god, who was cut in 14 pieces. And of course there was one piece missing. They couldn't find the penis of the god who was cut in 14 pieces, and when it was found, of course it was the symbol that everyone should worship, so to speak, and hence we see the outcome, of course, of the phallic symbols all over the place. And that has been the pattern of our construct, or how the world has been structured, we could say, particularly in the West. Now all of those things have got us going back into the story Let There Be Light. Now, Light. I have done this, and I want to sort of save a little. Should we say save a little time? Okay, like let's just look at it that we have done this, Let There Be Light, and hopefully that you have seen how the numbers work out. But I'll go for them as quick as I can. And so this is the numerical values here, which I know this by heart, but just for the sake of those who are just joining us, because this is still relatively new in the light of what we are doing. So this is 2 plus 5. I'm just going to put all the numerical values here and we can do the counting. Okay, and this is 8 and 2. So I count like this. It doesn't matter so much because Mother Eve has asked us to count backward anyway. So we are doing things like this. Okay, so this is 10, 17, and of course this would be 29. 20 and 29. So 29 is 11 when we add them together, 2 plus 9. And there we also have 11 here, which is 10, 20, 29. So we have 11 in the same format of light and there. And that is important for us to pay attention to that. Okay. Then we have let, which is 7 plus 1 is 8. Of course, 8. Let's have 8 here. Now, this is 3. This is meant to be 3. This is meant to be 3. And so this would be 10. 10. All right. And here we have 7. Okay. 7. We have 7 here. So when we add these together, 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 7 is 10. And 2 is 12. So we have 12 here. Now, but it says again, that is one stance, one of the verse that is where man, that's the first one, Mother Eve is saying, this is where there were 14 Eves. Now, I wanted to know, Mother Eve had told me about the 14 Eves, and she did say yes to say there are 14 Eves, but I had not really got to understand how the 14 Eves came about, and I asked directly, and now Mother Eve is really presenting how the 14 Eves, which one of them would have been Adam's wife, had come about. This is how Mother Eve is really telling the story right now, because that's why she's calling us home. She wants to round us up and to relate this story to us. She wants her side of the story to be heard. It's her time again to really speak up. That's why she's saying speak up. Okay. And I think she's more or less saying, listen, listen. That's what the serpent does. Listen. I want you to listen. Okay. So if we add and, the word and is 1. I have done this, A-N-D. So that's 1, 5 plus 4. When we add this together is 10. We can see the power of and. So every time we read the scriptures and there's the verse, each verse, which you are told in English language that when you're writing, you do not begin your sentence with and, but we see what happens here. Every time we hear and, we see that there is 10 being added, which of course 10 is 1. Of course. So knowing we have the same thing, there, let there be light, and there was light. So we add in 1 to the next set of lights, which would be 13. Now, when we add this together, of course, that gives us 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay. Now, that's our first creation right there. That is the first thing Mother Eve ordered. And when she said, let there be light, in verse 3 of chapter 1 of Genesis, she says, let there be light. She was saying, let there be 7 Eves. Let there be 7 after my kind, after my image. That was done right there. That was done there. And then when it was said now, oh, and there was light. I have to do this. I have to show you this. I have to show you how the mathematical construct had been so precise. So the first one was saying, let there be light. And the second one is saying, and there. So the word and of course is replacing let. The first, so the second stance is replace and instead of let there. And there was. And so, of course, we see that the third word now in the second stance, instead of being 2 letters, it becomes 3 letters, which is was. But see what happens with the 3 letters. W-A-S. And it's funny they should come in this way. And so this is 5, 1, 1. And that also equals 7. 5 plus 11 is 7. Now we can see even with the 5, which is Eve, and the 11, of course, 11 is, when we do the numerical value for 11, this in itself is offering so much. So 11, when we do the numerical value, E-L-E-V-E-N, we see we have Eve right there in it. This is where Mother Eve is taking control right now to show me how, or show us how there was Eve's right there in this, where we have 11 here. The word there equals 11. The word light equals 11. And of course, we see 11 here appears here, 11 appears here, and we have in this construct an 11 as well. So let there be light. So light, of course, is there, and there was light. So meaning we have 4 sets of 11s in this verse. So there were 2 theres and 2 lights. And there was light. Let there be light, and there was light. So we have 4 sets of 11. So that is 4 master number of 11, which would be 22, and 22 would be 22. So 11 would be 44. 4 plus 4 is 8. That is where we have the 8 that has been ate. We can see it has been ate right there, which is the fruit. We could say that Mother Eve ate. That was an eating there, or that was the result of what Mother Eve had ate. And so it's like saying she was spitting out there, and here. Because we have there and we have here. And so even in here, if we do the numerical value for here, I believe that is 9. Let's see, 10, 19, 20, that would be 27. So 2 plus 7 is 9. So right there, we see that that here and there consists of here and, well, repeating the same thing. Okay, now what I also want to show is that, so we see that in was, the word was. So the word was, this is why Mother Eve is saying to look back, count back, count back. And I think in words like was, which I'm going to check whether where we see was is written in italic, in the scriptures, I think it's very symbolic to say that turn it round. And God saw, because we have that in the verse, and there was light, and God saw that the light, that it was good. When we see the word saw, it means that all of that which the seven that we see, all of that verse consists of, it was saw. It was halved again, meaning there was the experiment, if you like, or whatever was happening, and they became, instead of 7, it became 14. Because Mother Eve, of course, was given exactly of what she consists of as 14. you only give all, it's like giving all of yourself. So she rippled out into this 7 and then rippled out into another 7 by soaring, and then it became 14. Of course, when we add 1 plus 4, it becomes 5. This is where Mother Eve has, or the Eves have been wrapped into in this equation, and has been concealed, we could say, in the soul, because we have not taken this as part of the equation, that there is a motion. Hence we have the W. Hence, when we see W, like I will say, and even in the word Eve as well, we could see that the V is like half of the W. Half of the W. If it were W, it would be 3 5s. If it were W, E-W-E, it would be, don't know how it would be pronounced, but it would be 3 5s. And so we see that there is part of her 7, because we can see that the W is like a 7. We can see it's like another 7 here. It's like 2 7s joined here together. And so Eve, in this sense, this is why it is said we have 14 Eves, because the Eves had split right here. Right here in the middle, the V's, the 7, it's giving you the makeup of the 14 Eves in the middle. So basically the 5, which this consists of 5, it also consists of 4. Of course, if it was 4 as an M, that would in itself say it's 2. So the 2 is now really telling us that there are 2 7s right here. This is what Mother Eve is saying. Turn the table over, like Christ had turned the table over in the synagogue when they were gambling in the synagogue, and he said, this is my Father's house, or whatever was happening. So we see that the word Father equals 31, which is 4. And perhaps this is where, as I say, the M equals 4 and house equals 5. So when we add this together, for instance, we would get 9. So basically, this is what Christ's teaching was a lot about, telling us this story. And I think so far I could see a strong correlation with all of what I can remember with Christ's story in the story of Mother Eve. And Mother Eve wants to relate the story to us. So she had sent, we could say, the Christ, or which is sending. This is how Christ is sent when we activate the pineal gland or the kundalini. With the Christ is being sent to the house. The house is in the pineal, is the pineal gland, or is the kundalini rise. So kundalini is actually 5, and pineal gland is actually 5, and so these two words actually comes to 5, and this is where Christ is saying, turn the table over, meaning go back from the lower chakra and concentrate in the house upstairs here, upstairs. So that's what Mother Eve is telling us right there. So Eve, in actual fact, the V is really a 7 in essence. It's really a 7. And when we have another 7, we see it gives us W. So the W, hence why we have W to see our reflection. And so I hope you get the juice of this, how the 14 Eves came about. So just to recap, so we see that all the two stands of what we have gathered so far is that let there be light, and there was light. That came to 7. The first stance is 12, let there be light. It came to 12. Of course, 12 is 3, and 3 in itself tells us that it's like 3 is like getting our attention and to pivot our our attention to see the makeup of that flower that is about to be birthed. That's what 3 is doing here. And then in the second stance, when it says, and there was light, we see it becomes 13. Now 13 again is mirrored right here. The 3 is mirroring this in the 13. And of course, as I say, 13 is where bonding happens. This is where the incubator is. It's like 3 and 3, 2. This has a numerical value of 2 as much as it has a numerical value of 4 and so on. So if we said 3 fours, that would be 12. So we are seeing where those 3s are really coming from. Now, another thing is when we do the numerical value for 10, which we began with the word let. So the word let equals 10. If we do the numerical value for 3, it gives us, no, hold on. For 10, T-E-N, it's 10. We see we have, when we add this together, we get 12. And of course, 10. So basically, 10 is telling us from the word let, which we get 10. It's telling us that there are 3s to be birthed from here. 3s are being birthed. 10 is being birthed into 3s. So it's not only 10, it has 3 letters, which tells us that it is the magic of 3 is about to ripple out, and it's going to create 7 eaves. And those 7 eaves, which is M, comes in M's, W, 3s and M, it's coming to that whole of the set God. The set God is going to set in this pattern of 8 petal. So 8 is really symbolic of God in this sense, the wholeness right here. Okay, so this is and yes, so it's really in the word was again. So the word was, of course, the word was, we could see when we turn this upside down, the W, because we are at liberty to do this. It is telling us the M is as. The M is meaning 4 is as. This is 1. So being, as I said, it is really telling us 4 11s are 44. When we add 4 plus 4, it gives us 8, which I have done the petal flower, the 8 petal flower. So this is what we have been told. We have been given this instrument, and it has been said to us to subdue, multiply, replenish, and increase. So by having all of those things, we are creating. Now we are doing a creation, but it's not saying that but it's provided us the manual. And that's what Mother Eve saying, look back. I want you to count back. She says count backward. And counting backwards sometimes means we need to change our position or the numbers position to be able to do that. So counting backward, we could even see the AM right here, where she says, I am that I am. Of course, I here, meaning 1, as the S here is the serpent right there. Whenever we see the S here, so if we counting backward, this is where she's saying, I am here. She's giving us her character right here. So I hope you get this. This is where in Genesis of chapter 1 verse 3, Mother Eve is really showing us that there were 14 Eves in that verse. And as I go on, of course, because it's that I am learning to think snake-like or serpent-like or the I am that I am now. So that will be more fine-tuned in other presentations, no doubt. Thank you. I hope you like this. I hope you found this intriguing, fun, insightful. And if you like it, give us a thumbs up. Thank you.